to you.
Well, good afternoon. It's great to be here, and I'll try to be complementary to the other speakers. And Hans rightly said that we are living in a very different environment today. Because if you go 7 years ago, Lisbon Agenda was set up how to differentiate Europe against the United States, right? Right now we have players like China, India, Southeast Asia. And if you take the economical power, it has to do with two things. Power means wealth you are able to accumulate, multiply by the size, right? In Europe, we were able to accumulate a lot of wealth, but as far as the size is concerned, it means in Southeast Asia the size of the population, in Russia it means size of the resources. We are not doing that well, so we need to work on the wealth part of the economical power. And you still, in our lives, probably 20, 25 years from now, G7 countries will be very different set of the countries. No one European country will be G7 country, but you still, there's one thing, it's a GDP, the other thing is competitiveness. You can still have the most competitive region here in Europe if we will do good things. Now, my predecessors mentioned two big challenges we have in Europe. Demography, and you have in order to have a flat population basically, you need to have 2.1 children per family. In Europe it's 1.6, right? And even though everybody would go home today and try hard, we will not change it in the next 20 years, right? So we need to work on the other element, which is productivity, right? And that's, again, productivity is comparable with the big economies in Southeast Asia and United States, but we are not working enough hours. And if we want to preserve social model in Europe, we need to be more productive. So it is really about what is President Barroso saying, unlocking European potential. And it has to do with innovation and creativity. And I think we need, I don't want to talk that much about the technology itself. I think we need to invest in the skills of the people. I think the people skills, it's the differentiator how Europe can make a huge difference. Because I can bet you 5 years from now, we will have IT jobs in our industry, but almost all jobs will be so-called IT-enabled jobs. And unless you want to do 5 years from now removal of snow, which will not be big business, by the way, right? Because of the global warming, almost all jobs will be IT-enabled jobs. So I do believe, and we believe as a company, in the magic of software. And I think it's not only about the IT developers, but it's in general about the skills we have here in Europe. It's really moving from capability to impact. Because if you take, I was speaking at the e-government conference in Portugal, if you take even more advanced countries like Sweden, there's internet penetration in Sweden, 70%. People are using e-taxation, 20-25%. It's really, making population to use those services and be more effective and efficient. Now, what the companies like Microsoft can do, we really, and with the European Commission, we have several examples where we respectfully disagree with each other. But as far as the competitiveness is concerned, we absolutely agree. So we align our strategy to job and growth, and with our partners like HP here in the room or Cisco, I would mention just a couple of initiatives. It's e-skills we just announced together with Commissioner Verheugen. We would like to train Europeans to get the better e-skills, and it starts with the basic skills and it goes up to the development and IT skills. The other one is employability, because what we will face in Europe, and it starts with the textile industry, you would need to retrain people very fast to move them from the less advanced industries to the services and more advanced industries. So there's another initiative on employability which we are doing with Cisco. And the last one I wanted to mention, if you compare Europe's competitiveness to the other region, small and medium business, it's still not that competitive and using IT technology. So another initiative we have with HP and Intel and with the other partners called EU Grant Advisor Program, and that's both for the SMEs and the regions. Because what we figure out is if you are like a small entity in Europe, it's hard to apply for the grant. There's a lot of bureaucracy still. I'm glad that Commission wants to make it easier. So we have people who are paid by the consortium, and they are able to write a project and ask for the money. So I am a strong believer in the public-private partnership. I think that the companies moving on companies here in Europe, we need to think more and getting closer and closer to the politicians and to say, hey, this is how we want this region to compete next 20 years. But politicians, on the other hand, need to think more as we think as far as the business is concerned. Because if we take the state budget, and I know this is the regions, I think the politicians should start to think about the state budget more as a P&L, because if it will continue like that, 90% of the spend will be mandatory spend, and then there's very little for investment. So I wanted to thank personally to Hans, because I think Europe Enterprise Platform, it's a great platform where we can have those discussions, because it's all about innovation, but we should move on and really wake up Europe before it's too late. Thanks.